desktop environment have been the backbone of GUI interfaces on computers since the very beginning of postal computing itself. Hell, even Windows saw it as a desktop environment for MS-DOS. But Linux, unlike these other operating systems, is different because you can choose from multiple different type of desktop environments instead of just whatever one that Windows or Mac gives you and you have to deal with it. And hell, it doesn't even end there since you can customize these to be whatever you want to your liking. But today we are talking about the lightest one that's still on today, LXQT, a desktop environment that is meant for weaker, older hardware like netbooks and like shitty Chromebooks. Today we'll test if it's useful, and instead of using a VM like usual, we will actually use it on real hardware, specifically this laptop right here, and this thing is a piece of shit. The specs are the following: an Intel Celeron N1500, 4GB of RAM, and 64GB of eMMC storage. Basically less powerful than the phone I'm filming this on right now and what you're probably watching this on. So let's see if this white desktop environment can give this glorified E-race some life and actually make it useful. Before we test it out, we'll see what distros it supports. Due to it being a more obscure desktop environment, not every distro supports it, like Alpine and Manjaro that does not have official versions for it, but distros like Debian and Fedora do have support for it. But for this video, we'll go with Ubuntu, an Ubuntu flavor with the LXQT desktop environment, aka the one that we're looking at today, instead of the GNOME desktop environment by default. You can get it from Ubuntu.me, and it's actually pretty easy to install. So the first thing that you will notice once you install it will be the start menu and its app selection, having some interesting apps to say the least pre-installed like Vim or VLC, which shockingly most distros don't have pre-installed. Besides that, it does have basic apps like LibreOffice or Firefox, though you can actually select them as a pre-install in the install process like Quetta, which I did here. But the most important thing to do here, since it is meant to be a lightweight distro, is the system usage, where if you go on HTOP, which yes, that is pre-installed, you can see that it actually uses less than a gigabyte of RAM when idle and barely using anything from the CPU. Most appearance things with the taskbar are similar to desktops like KDE or Cinnamon, with a day and clock on the right, an icon, the start menu, and even a virtual desktop selected on the left. Its settings app does not have many options due to it being lightweight, kinda like XFCE, but it's still got basic stuff like changing the wallpaper from whatever the hell this creature is supposed to be into being the only Israeli I would die for. It also has like a shit ton of keyboard shortcuts for some reason. It does have like some of the basic ones like Meta key, aka Windows key, press E into like the file manager. Most of the F keys are used with the Control Alt for switching virtual desktops depending on which one that you have. But there was some interesting ones like Control Alt B to load up the web browser, which is Firefox, and Control Alt T for the terminal. The file manager is the PC Man file manager, which is built for Qt based Linux stuff, which looks kinda like Thunar, but with mono icons, but that's probably due to it being an Ubuntu flavor. And for some reason names the home folder test, and due to being an Ubuntu based flavor, it does have snap packages by default for some reason, but most of the icons are pretty similar to most distros like Cinnamon. Now we'll talk about Wayland support, or the lack thereof. If you did not know, most desktop environments like GNOME and KDE are switching from the X11 protocol to the Wayland protocol. And due to it being a newer protocol, it does have some bugs that need to tweak out. That's why LXQT is not making the switch yet. But over time, like most desktop environments, like hell, even ones like XFCE, they're releasing beta builds for Wayland. Like the last beta just came out a couple days ago. Who knows, maybe in the future they might be like GNOME and drop it all together, especially since Wayland is increasing in popularity and getting more support. But that'll take years, so we'll wait till then. Now I'll talk about my final thoughts. I do think it's useful, especially if you have weak hardware or you have a lot of heavy duty stuff to run and don't have that much RAM. But for anyone else, it's just okay. Will I use this anytime myself on my real main machine? Hell nah. But it's still a decent desktop to use, especially for these rare circumstances. And keep using Linux, my brothers, and have a wonderful day.